2 days after Lena's death, Marcus searched her name online more than a dozen times. News articles, social media posts, comment sections. He even watched a local report replaying the 911 call, his own voice faint in the background, like a ghost he couldn't outrun. Meanwhile, the investigation uncovered something worse. A neighbor from 3 floors below came forward, shaken. She said she'd found a phone on the pavement that night, but assumed it had been dropped accidentally. She plugged it in at home, hoping to identify the owner. When it powered on, the screen locked, but notifications flooded in. Missed calls, emergency alerts, and one voicemail, partially saved. Detectives recovered the audio. Lena was screaming. The sound of skin hitting bone echoed through the recording. Then Marcus's voice, unmistakable now, close, furious, not panicked, not afraid, commanding. The room went silent when the playback ended. With that evidence, police issued a nationwide alert. Marcus Hale was no longer a person of interest. He was a wanted man. But just as the warrant went live, something unexpected happened. Marcus contacted a lawyer. He claimed he wanted to surrender, but only if he could tell his side first. He said Lena was unstable, that she attacked him, that the phone falling from the balcony was an accident. He insisted he left because he panicked, not because he was guilty. Detectives weren't convinced. Not after what they'd heard, not after what they'd seen. They agreed to meet. The interrogation room was cold and bright when Marcus finally walked in, unshaven but composed, hands steady as he folded them on the table. He spoke calmly, choosing his words carefully. Too carefully. But halfway through the interview, one detective slid a printed screenshot across the table. Lena's final, unsent message. Marcus stared at it longer than necessary, and for just a second, the mask slipped. Because that's when investigators realized the truth wasn't just about what happened that night. It was about something Marcus believed he'd already gotten away with once before. The room felt smaller once the mask slipped. Detectives didn't rush Marcus after the screenshot. They let the silence work on him, let his eyes linger on Lena's words like they were burning into the table. Then one investigator spoke quietly, almost casually. "You've done this before, haven't you?" Marcus laughed once, sharp and defensive. He said nothing. That was enough. They laid it all out. The prior police report from 2 years earlier in another state, the ex-girlfriend who'd recanted her statement after claiming Marcus had smashed her phone during an argument. No charges, no trial, just a closed file and a pattern no one had connected until now. Different city, same behavior, same control, same silence. This time, there would be no recanting. Prosecutors moved fast. Forensic analysts rebuilt Lena's final minutes second by second. Bruising patterns showed repeated blows. The trajectory of the phone proved it hadn't fallen, it had been thrown with force. Neighbors testified about the shouting. The recovered voicemail played in court, raw and unbearable. Jurors sat frozen, listening to Lena fight for her life, while the man who claimed to love her stood feet away. Marcus took the stand in his own defense. He said he'd lost his temper, said he never meant to kill her, said the call to police was misunderstood. But when the prosecutor asked why he returned hours later and pretended to discover the body, Marcus had no answer that fit the evidence. Intent doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it shows up in choices. The jury deliberated less than a day. Guilty. When the sentence was read, Marcus stared straight ahead, expression empty, as if the outcome surprised him. He was led away in handcuffs, a man who believed control meant power, finally stripped of both. But the case didn't end in that courtroom. Lena's family pushed for changes, faster response protocols for interrupted emergency calls, better location tracing,
mandatory follow-ups when a call ends violently. Her final words became part of training sessions for dispatchers nationwide. "He's bashing me" was no longer just a quote, it was a warning. Months later, a new dispatcher recognized the pattern during a similar call. A scream, a sudden disconnect. Officers were sent immediately. A woman survived. That survival traced back to Lena. In her apartment, the crime scene was cleaned, the walls repainted, the echoes gone. But the balcony remained unchanged. People still walk past the spot below where a phone once shattered, where a life's last chance at help hit concrete. Marcus will spend decades behind bars. He will age. He will be forgotten. Lena won't be, because her voice, shaking, desperate, real, still plays in courtrooms, classrooms, and training rooms across the country. A reminder that danger often comes wearing a familiar face, and that silence is sometimes the weapon. They thought the call had ended when the phone hit the ground. It hadn't. It was only the beginning. And if this story stayed with you, if it made your chest tighten just a little, then you already know there are more truths like this waiting to be told. Stay close.
Before we dive in, if dark truths, real crime, and chilling investigations keep you up at night, hit subscribe, leave a comment, and stay close, because stories like this don't let go once they begin. The police call crackled with panic. The woman's voice was strained, breathless, each word fighting through fear. "He's bashing me," she said. "Please, he's gonna kill me." In the background, something slammed, a muffled shout, then a sudden rush of wind. The line went dead. At 2:17 a.m., officers in the city's central precinct froze, staring at the silent phone screen. The emergency call hadn't ended normally. It had been violently cut off. No address confirmed, no apartment number, just terror and silence. By the time patrol cars reached the high-rise listed as the most likely source, the building stood quiet, its balconies stacked like darkened cages against the night sky. Somewhere above, a phone lay shattered on concrete far below, its final call unanswered. Inside the apartment, Lena had been fighting for her life. Neighbors would later tell investigators they heard yelling earlier that night, a man's voice, anger, fear, then a crash, followed by footsteps pounding down a stairwell. But at the time, no one called it in. In big cities, people learn to ignore sounds they don't want to understand. Hours passed. When officers finally forced entry the next afternoon, the apartment felt wrong immediately. Furniture overturned, a picture frame smashed against the wall, bloodstains partially wiped as if someone had tried and failed to erase what happened. In the bedroom, they found Lena's body. She was gone long before help could arrive. The medical examiner would later confirm blunt force trauma, no defensive weapon, no chance to escape. Attention quickly turned to the man she had been afraid of, her ex-boyfriend, Marcus Hale, 32, no fixed address, a history of controlling behavior that friends said Lena had tried to escape. She'd broken things off weeks earlier, telling people she felt watched, followed, hunted. She even warned a coworker, "If anything happens to me, it's him." Marcus was nowhere to be found. Security footage from the building showed him leaving just minutes after the emergency call cut off. In one grainy frame, something dark flew from the balcony, tumbling into the shadows below. Detectives would later recover Lena's phone near the entrance, its screen shattered beyond repair. Then came the detail that made seasoned investigators pause. Records showed that hours after fleeing, Marcus had returned to the same building, calm, collected. He dialed emergency services himself, reporting that he'd just found his ex unresponsive, his voice steady, almost bored. But when detectives replayed Lena's final call, slowing it down frame by frame, they caught something chilling beneath her screams. A man's voice close to the phone, shouting one sentence before the line went dead. "Drop it.
And that's when investigators realized this wasn't just a murder, it was a silencing. But the most disturbing discovery was still waiting, because hidden in Lena's deleted messages was a warning she had sent just hours before she died. And once detectives read it, the entire case took a darker turn. Detectives spent the night buried in Lena's digital life, peeling back hours, then days, then months. Her deleted messages weren't random fragments, they were a timeline of fear. Screenshots of missed calls, voicemails she never opened. One unsent text, typed but never delivered, froze the room. "If he shows up tonight, I'm calling the police immediately." Timestamped just 40 minutes before the fatal call. Marcus Hale hadn't lost control, he'd planned to take it back. As detectives reconstructed his movements, a disturbing pattern emerged. Marcus had been circling Lena's life since the breakup, showing up at places she frequented, parking across the street from her building, logging into old shared accounts she forgot to change. He knew her routines, he knew when she was alone, and most chilling of all, he knew exactly how to make sure no one could reach her in time. Phone records revealed he'd called Lena repeatedly that night. She ignored him. The last incoming call ended minutes before she dialed the police. That's when he showed up in person. Detectives tracked Marcus through traffic cameras and credit card pings. He didn't flee the city, he vanished into it, sleeping on couches, using cash, staying just ahead of the net tightening around him. But arrogance left fingerprints. He couldn't resist watching the fallout.